play a little levitate real quick. Let some more people get notified.
We at it again. I don't medicate, I move with the weight and I elevate. They go to the matrix, I meditate. Magnetize by that motor, I innovate, trade it, make haters evaporate. They revive by the fire, I generate it. They rapidly make the devil disintegrate. Put my face to the east and I alternate. All my levitate, 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 yeah, they levitate, 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 yeah, they levitate, 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 levitate.
But take a step no further. Lightness required from detached observers. No escape from the struggles of warfare. Ancestral wars, no dark clouds. Wherefore only the bold can cross the rainbow bridge. Not an ounce of fear, no looks down, not a smidge. Don't shun obstacles off path, no switch or give a single fudge of the tug of a yappy. Rich in the heart, deep elemental balance. Fight hard to bestow meaningful, crucial clowns. Serve the purpose, gatekeepers hold no malice. Ride Michael Lines, find the peaceful floating palace dome of Kublai Khan. Echoes of the Yuan, mandated heaven from decrees laid upon. Wings like these needed not to float as swans. Visions of gods bearing many wise spawns.
Levitate, 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 yeah, levitate, 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 levitate.
All praises, Chief Indigo. We'll have to check that out.
Levitate, 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 yeah, levitate.
Put the link in the chat so people can try to find it.
Fiery plague in America and Europa. Conflagration 83 is confused, asking why. Genesis 15:13 says hallelujah. Jacob's trouble is over, that's say Yahweh. By his power we have manna, we say all praise Yah. By the guide of right mama, we say glory Yah. Mene, take you to Babylon.
Oh, Grand Rising. I'll have to check that out.
Levitate, levitate, yeah, levitate, 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 yeah, levitate, 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 yeah, levitate, 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 yeah, levitate, levitate, levitate.
They got another song in here I really like. I'm gonna play this other one. It's called it's the Day of the Lord. I like that one too. It's a really good one.
This the day of the Lord. I will rejoice and be glad in it. Finally, we making noise and they mad at it. Matter of fact, we be at peace when they panicking. Watching the army is bringing the sword and there's nowhere to run or to hide.
Right, Prodigy, I know they tripping.
Instruction to come like a thief in the night. Thief in the It's the day of the Lord. Michael came with a sword, rumors of war. They say they about to turn up. Hours I'm plugging the cord, closing the store. I don't look back, I look forward. I left the past by the door. Mama Ruach to show me the score. The devil can't hurt me no more. It's the day of the Lord. I'm gonna be glad when they gone. Ain't no more begging to leave us alone. All of my people a beautiful home. Freedom to roam. It's the day of the Lord. And you got an answer for that. Destruction is coming and coming all black. We did a lot and I'm taking it back. Taking it back. It's the day of the Lord. I will rejoice and be glad in it. Finally, we making noise and they mad at it. Matter of fact, we be at peace while they panicking. Watching the army is big and the sword and there's nowhere to run or to hide. Now that my angels are right by my side, destruction to come like a thief in the night. Thief in the... This the day of the Lord. This the day of the Lord. This the
Great to see you, Small Levi. Great to see you, Sister Lisa. Thank you to all the moderators. Appreciate all of you.
This the day of the Lord. This the day of the Lord. I will rejoice and be glad in it.
Wrath in the dark for my true purpose. Sought validation from all who heard this. Taken advantage of by disgraced lovers, like leading a blind man to gator-filled waters. I wanted to believe all the quenching lies, but Levana insists they'll snap none of this pie. Face the facts, push back from those closest. Made no sense, still persist as Moses. Passions brought up under false flame. The emotional fury stirred up.
To you as well, Randy Farmer.
Straight to cruel, venomous, web certain doom for 83 system that was horribly abused.
It's the day of the Lord. I will rejoice and be glad in it. Finally, we making noise and they mad at it. Matter of fact, we be at peace while they panicking. Watching the army is bringing the sword and there's nowhere to run or to hide. Now that my angels are right by my side, destruction to come like a thief in the night. Thief in the... It's the day of the Lord. It's the day of the Lord. It's the day of the Lord. I will rejoice and be glad in it. This the day of the Lord. This the day of the Lord. This the day of the Lord. I will rejoice and be glad in it. I will rejoice and be glad in it. I will rejoice and be glad in it.
I really like those two songs. The whole record is beautiful. Just a couple of my favorites though. Great hanging out with everyone. I'm gonna be a little bit longer today, I hope, so that we can chill here and have some fun together and spend some time together with like-minded folks, like-spirited brothers and sisters right now. It's a year ago was that huge day when the X came over America. And we'll kind of reminisce on some of the things that happened from 2017 to 2024 and what's going on right now. I mean, the fact that the stock market was influenced by trillions of dollars yesterday by a fake news release shows you all that you need to know. That the smoke and mirrors is gone. These people are just grasping at anything that can be looked at as good news. So someone made a fake account, threw a Bloomberg name on it, and said that, oh, Trump's thinking about a 90-day pause or whatever else with the tariffs. And of course, they let that go out there, and it took the president a little while before he came out and his spokesman said, no, that's not true. But they allowed it to be out there long enough to affect the stock market with false hope. And as you can see, you're dealing with 99% of the population that wants to cleave to a false hope. This is why they don't engage over here. Because if they don't engage, then they can still believe the fake hope. They can still grasp for that lost time of pre-2019 or 2020. They can still pray that Jesus is going to restore that for them. So they'd much rather believe a lie. Just like they wanted to believe the lie yesterday, that Trump was going to stop the tariffs for 90 days or whatever. Is that going to, even if that was even true, is that somehow going to stop the inevitable destruction? So you guys are just looking for anything that lets you still feel like you are in charge. You want any little bit of time that you can get. You're wishing and hoping for a 7-year tribulation period. You're hoping for that tribulation period so that then you can be like, well, at least we have 3.5 more years to enjoy our rule. They'll seem to do anything to try to get some more time for their rule. This shows exactly how so delusional these people are. You know, we're going to get out here and take a walk. Enjoy the beautiful day that the Most High has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it together. So hold on real quick. Hear the beautiful birds chirping. This park that I sometimes frequent. When I was growing up, I said this park, hold on real fast. Used to be a really nice park, but it's like really been taken over by a lot of homeless people. Hold on real fast, family. You can take a look at how Esau been living over here. This is a park over here in Orange County. You see these big old huge homes over here overlooking the park and everything else. And just remember that, you know, many of these people are those ones that were out here protesting yesterday or on Saturday, you know. They'd be the ones that would be out here protesting all of a sudden, yeah, on Saturday, right? You have these big old huge homes. Let me show you again. So you got that one right there. You got this one right here. Hold on fast. So this is a beautiful part of Orange County here. I said, but they got these big old huge homes right here overlooking the park, you know, and you know that we weren't allowed to be hanging out over here. We said we'd be, you know, getting harassed by cops. This is like, this city here is notorious for like cops and like harassing people when they come through and stuff, especially our people. I said, but now, like I said, there's a lot of homeless people that live over here in this place. They kind of like overrun in certain areas and things like that. But like I said, you know, like that video I did yesterday, and the guy was just all happy that the so-called old white people acknowledged his humanity. You know, oh man, you know, we thought these people were racist. They are racist. It's not that they were, they still are racist. I said, until they admit what they've done, start giving everything back that they've stolen. You know, I said, just because they acknowledge your humanity, like all of a sudden that's supposed to have done something. That just shows you, like I said, like how our people just want to be accepted in any way. They want to be acknowledged in any way, right? And I can care less if you acknowledge me. I said, my father has acknowledged me. My mother has acknowledged me. So anything that you guys think or say means absolutely nothing. You're people that let the stock market jump up trillions of dollars on a lie. Someone just typed in just one little comment and the whole world jumped on it. The whole world wants to believe a lie. But if we bring out information, we bring out truth, we tell people to, hey, explain, you know, 2 Ezra 14. Explain Revelation 6 and 8. Break it down. Show us how this is not, you know, has nothing to do with 1492. And what do we get? We get crickets, right? I said, but some guy just makes a random post about Trump getting ready to, you know, stop tariffs for 90 days, which was funny. I'm like, why would he stop something he just started on Thursday? Why are you guys like over here worried about like wanting him to stop something that he barely got started with? I mean, he barely got started with that whole, you know, mode of thinking and that whole operation on Thursday. So by Sunday night or Monday, you guys are already putting out fake stories. I said that just shows you, like, I mean, so a couple days and you guys reduced to false stories to get the stock market up. And then today it's hilarious that all of a sudden Trump said last night, if China doesn't cut the tariffs they set up, that he's going to increase tariffs 50% tomorrow. So what does the stock market do? Oh, it goes up. It shoots up because they have hopes of a deal. There's hopes of some type of a deal between what? China and Trump. So you guys are not in the times of being able to make deals to prolong your kingdom. That's what you guys are hoping for. You're hoping for any kind of a deal that will prolong your kingdom. And that's all that you guys are shooting for. You're not shooting for fixing anything. You're not shooting for bringing down the debt. You're not shooting for sustainability of your society. You are trying to just, hey man, can I just get a few more days? Hey man, can I get like 90 more days? That getting 90 days was worth trillions of dollars to you guys. 90 days was worth what? It said it went up from lost 2.6 trillion to getting a 2.6 trillion back. So a rumor about 90-day reprieve was worth, you know, $2.6 trillion for you guys. Now, you don't think that our planets have power? We manifested your fall and our rise on January 10th. Here we are almost now in April 10th, 3 months later, and you guys are begging for 90 more days. You're begging for anything. You're looking for, I'm like, they didn't say there was any hope for a deal. So they didn't say there was any hope for any kind of a deal, but you guys shoot the market up based off of hopes that there's going to be a deal. See, the deals now aren't between your guys' countries. The deals are between all your countries, Psalms 83, and the Most High. But it's kind of hard to make a deal with the Most High when the Most High is not listening to you. It's kind of hard to make a deal when, you know, let me show you guys, this is a really beautiful view here. I said, it's really difficult to make deals when you have no way of communicating with the Most High. Only people that you see when the fallen angels wanted to make a deal with the Most High, who did they have to go to? Could they just, hey, I'm gonna just talk to the Most High on my own? That was Azazel said and his angels. There's a couple hundred angels that went down and wanted to sleep with women. Were they able to just, hey, you know what, man? Hey, man, my bad. I'm just gonna go talk to the Most High and see if He'll give me an opportunity to make amends, right? That wasn't the case whatsoever. Oh wow, some cops flying through here in their cars. I've never seen that before. You see what I'm saying? Like, they don't have that opportunity to get that kind of grace anymore. So they're, you know, trying to make covenants between you guys. See, that was when you guys had the blessing and you guys could make covenants with each other. This is you guys are not in any position to make any covenants with each other anymore. See, not exactly it, right? Fair use, it says legendary. Enoch was the one they had to go to. So if you guys wanted to have some type of conversation with the Most High, you have to come through the elect of the Most High. You have to come to the ones who are in communication with the Most High. And if you think you can talk to your priests and get some reprieve or some action, go right ahead. Go to your priest and talk to your priest and see what they can do for you. What about if you want to go to your pastors? Go right ahead. If you want to go to your politicians, go right ahead and see how that works out for you. See, this is what you're seeing, all these things everyone keeps talking about. They keep talking about World War III. I thought 2 weeks ago, oh, the attack with Iran is inevitable. The war with Iran is inevitable. Oh, the Ukraine, they sent some missiles into Russia. Everybody's got to go to their bunkers right now. Said because they blew up Putin's car, right? They blew up Putin's limousine. So that was a couple of weeks ago, wasn't it? They blew up his limousine, and so we haven't seen Putin for a while. So get ready, get your bunkers, because now that's going to happen. I mean, how many more stories have we heard? I haven't even heard much about BRICS anymore. But I'm just talking about the World War III. Everything was going to start up like 3 weeks ago, and then all of a sudden, what was it? The Israelis went and bombed a bunch of areas over there, the Palestinians, and that was going to flare. I was going to jump everything off. Nothing again. What did we tell you? You don't have our energy. So as you can see, there's nothing but rumors of wars. Exactly, right? That's all that we get. We get what? And see, they gave their breakdown. Oh, it's rumors of wars because there's always these. No, there's rumors because you're faking it, trying to steal our energy. That is why you come up with rumors of war. Your whole rumors of war, again, revolve around us. Your rumors of war are just a way to try to steal our energy. See, that's the part they left out when they're talking about the rumors of wars and economic collapse and everything else. It all still revolves around the true Israelites. And see, when you don't have that understanding, you're just going to look at all the stuff they keep putting up, on TV and say that is somehow that's biblical prophecy. Oh, they got rumors of wars, so that's prophecy right there. No, those rumors of wars are to try to steal the energy of the elect of the Israelites. That's all that it is. It's all just a way to try to get you to give them your power. Just not all people, because the vast majority of people are giving that their energy. But as you can tell, they have no power. So they don't need energy from those people. They need our energy. And they're not getting that. They're not getting our energy anymore like that. You see, I mean, how much fake news do we have to look at? He said, people who keep on pushing that World War III BS and, BRICS is going to take over and going to crash the dollar. Like, everything is going to crash, yes. But they don't, Most High doesn't want you thinking that it was Saudi Arabia that did it. They don't want you thinking that, it was Ukraine that started all this. They don't want you thinking that it was China and America that started all this. They want you to know that you're going into this because of what you did to the Most High's chosen people. That is the main thing. It's about intentions. Most High wants you to know the intentions of why you do certain things. And He wants you to know the intentions of the Most High as to why you're having to pay for these things. You're paying for these things not because, of what Russia did or what China did. You're paying for what all of them did to the Most High's chosen people. And see, those videos, when you watch, like you look at the numbers of like the views that they have, they'll have all 30,000 views, 25,000 views, and whatever else, as if somehow that's what the whole world is concentrating on. That they're concentrating on these guys and their breakdowns. But all it is just they're just using those videos to push their narrative. And still, like I said, until you show me some action, I won't believe anything that you say. I won't believe absolutely anything that you say. They're trying to kick the can down the road, and it's like you guys have already been kicking the can down the road for hundreds of years. See, once we were supposed to come out of our slavery, you switched up everything, and you switched up who we are. You switched up our designation. You switched up our nation, like where we came from, and everything else. And now, you can't do that anymore. You can't lie about who we are because we're not dependent upon you to tell us who we are anymore. Exactly, or the damn Hamites want to be our friends now. Like, yeah, you can say that BS. So that's not happening. It's all smoke and mirrors. And it's like, you can, once you understand that, like, look, hey, even with the stock market, we know that they're manipulating stuff like that. Like, hey, we can see what's going on. I said, when the Most High gets ready to bring it all down, it's just all coming down. I haven't paid attention to the stock market in years. Okay, I'm just looking to see, like, what's like. I'm looking at our dates because the times, you know, and the stars and the 7 planets are very important. Understanding all that. See what I'm saying? So it's like, I understand that it's not their time, it's the Most High's timeline. And that is what we're seeing. Like, so, like, look, this is a 1-year anniversary of the X marks the spot. And just look at right now how things are. I mean, they have less and less power. They have less and less influence from last year to this year. It is, I mean, like, when you have to come up with fake news and like nobody is gonna put that dude in jail for manipulating the market. No one's gonna go after that guy for manipulating the market. So, all because it worked out in your favor, so therefore it wasn't a crime, right? I mean, that one, you know, post made or lost trillions of dollars for somebody. No, you know, we couldn't work our whole, how many lifetimes would it take us to work in their system to make $1 trillion? And someone can manipulate the system to make that kind of money for some people, because people had lost 2.6 trillion when the markets closed yesterday. And someone makes a fake tweet or a fake post, and all of a sudden they get $2.6 trillion back. I mean, now you see, like, after a year, how desperate these people are for any good news. I mean, that right there is huge. You just think about that. They had to make a post, you know, and then today, like I said, I'll have to look again to see how it is again. But again, it's on hopes of a deal when there's there's nothing in here that shows you there's going to be a deal. And that's exactly it. We're bringing all this. This is the power that we have. We're bringing all of these things to pass. We're bringing all of these things to bear on the other nations. And see, on their channels, they boost the numbers and make it look like so many people are watching. But on my channel, it's hilarious. It's like the same amount of people seem to be the only ones that listen to my channel every single time. The numbers are almost identical all the time, which is impossible. But that just shows you that they're hiding, they're propping up, like they always do, their people, and controlling anyone that has a different point of view. Like, yeah, it'd be more realistic if less people were watching or more people was watching, but not the same. Like, it'll stay that, you know, same numbers forever, and then towards the end, I'll start letting it move up a little bit. But I'm like, I guess people want to keep on listening to the same people who are crying for World War III, and then also, I guess people want to hear that all the time. It's funny because people always say, I don't want to listen to bad news. That's why I don't watch the news. I don't watch the news because I don't want to hear bad news. How many people have we heard say that? How many people? I mean, I've heard that from so many people. I said, but you'll listen to supposedly all this news about World War III. You'll listen to all this news about BRICS and how we're going to go online with BRICS. Okay, we're going to wait another month. Oh, you know, we're going to go online with BRICS. We got all the countries. Okay, we're going to wait another 2 months. Oh, we're going to go online. we got BRICS. We're ready. We're going to take down the dollar. Yeah, we're going to wait another 3 months. That's all that they do. That's all that they do. Oh, we're going to go to war. I said, Iran, get ready. We're coming. I'm going to move some of my chess pieces over by you. Oh, and then nothing. How many times do you guys think that that's going to work? You know, it's not going to work. So you're trying to say that there's no Gentiles that are disillusioned with what they're seeing and want to cleave to the Most High's chosen people? Is that what you're saying? So we just pray that the Most High has these other nations release everything. We pray that they stop playing the games with the numbers. We stop inflating their numbers and holding down ours. We pray that if the Most High has people that want to cleave to the Most High's chosen people, that He allows them to do so. We also pray that, that He gives us back everything that was taken away from us. And that He exposes who is in charge and who is pulling the strings in this reality. I was talking to my son earlier, and we're talking about the whole thing like with African American, and like how these people just don't seem to grasp the fact that all of the lies that they've pushed will not continue. So therefore, the jobs in those lies will not continue. If you're in a job that's promoting African American, and that we're African American, and that we all came from Africa, and that our heritage is in Africa. See, the only reason that worked before was because the Most High put a strong delusion on us. He wanted us to believe a lie. Now, we're done with that lie. So therefore, if that's what you're teaching, if that's what you're pushing, it will be destroyed. That's why all of a sudden Trump is like getting rid of Black history, African American history, talking about getting rid of, people are like, oh, he's getting rid of diversity. He's getting rid of, learning about other people and other ethnic groups. Hold on, fast family. Okay. No, that's not what he's doing. There are no other ethnic groups. That is what so when he's getting rid of ethnic groups, as you say, or he's getting rid of Black history, he's getting rid of Mexican history, Mexican American history. He wants to get rid of, South American history. He wants to get rid of all these different groups. Do you know why? Because the Most High is telling you there's no such thing as other groups. There's no such thing as other groups. There are sheep and goats. So see, again, why would the so-called white man who set all this up be tearing it down? Only reason he's not tearing it down, because that's what you got. That's how you got Psalms 83 all set up. That's how you got all that all set up. It's because you divided. Remember, Satan is about ignorance. Satan is about division. Even though they say universalism, even though they say the Catholic Church is all about universal, about all of us, coming together and everybody getting their fair share. Now we know that in reality, that has not been the case whatsoever. Okay? They have pitted every single group of people against every other group of people. And then when you bring it up, they try to make it sound like you're the racist. You see what I'm saying? Like, you other nations, you all got in your positions by hating us. You've all gotten your blessings by hating us and being quiet. Okay? You did not get it by working hard, because if that's the case, you could have worked hard in your own country. If it was all about just working hard, then why would you have to come to this land to work hard? Couldn't you have just worked hard in your class, in your nation, and gotten the same perks? See what I'm saying? That's when you hear people say, oh, my parents worked hard. Yes, they worked hard here on my lands. And when they worked hard on my lands are a blessing to people who are here. Understand that, right? When Jacob went to go and work with his uncle, and his uncle thrived, is because of Jacob. That is why the uncle thrived. Was it because the uncle did anything extra? That's why the uncle didn't want to let Jacob go. He was like, no, you can have this one, you can have Leah, but if you want Rachel, you can give me another 4 years, another 7 years. Why is that? Because they know that it's a blessing. So, you know, had his father-in-law worked hard with Jacob not being there, do you think he would have been as fruitful? Do you think he would have been as fruitful if Jacob wasn't working the lands at that time? Nope. That's why they always try to keep us enslaved, because they know that as long as we are there and we are working, that everyone else will actually profit from that. That is why in the 1700s, when they were releasing all the Indian slaves, they're like, oh, no, they're African. So therefore, if they push us as being African, then they can keep us enslaved longer, and they can do what? Reap the benefits of it. Then they can reap the benefits of it. You see what I'm saying? Now you understand like why it was so important to hide who we were in order to say that we didn't have rights, in order to keep us enslaved on our own lands. See, now it's all making sense, just like Jacob and his father-in-law. Jacob and his father-in-law, right? Father of Rachel and Leah. Was it Laban? Confirm it was Laban. Laban, his father-in-law. Oh, I was just confirming. It's Laban was the name of the father-in-law. So when all these other nations, thank you, when all these other nations were saying, oh, I'm going to go to the land of milk and honey, I'm going to find my dream in America, that was because we were enslaved here. So therefore, that was how you got your blessing. So my parents worked so hard. Like I said, why didn't they work hard in the nations where they were at then? Why come over here to Turtle Island in order to get a blessing? Why come over here to work in order to get a blessing? See, this is all like coming down to me right now from the Most High. This is all coming and making these connections are coming to me right now from the Most High and from the Holy Spirit. Thank you to the Most High. Thank you to the Holy Spirit. Thank you to my angels. I said, I didn't put those connections together till right now. So see, like, and that's why, you know, just like Laban tricked Jacob by giving him Leah at first in order to get himself more time, that's what these other nations did to us. He did exactly the same thing that Laban did. You know, how do they do that? By telling us, oh, hey, you know, Ish, and you know, during, well, even before, I mean, they made these laws. They're like, okay, you're free in 1865 or 1860, and you know, proclamation and everything. You guys are free, but if you commit a crime, then you're a slave again. You know what I mean? You're a slave again. The 13th Amendment. Then, you know, okay, well, we're supposed to give you guys all of these perks because you're the Native American, so we're going to go ahead and pass this Indian Rights Act. You know, and then, but we're going to make sure we call you Negro, and we're going to steal your identity and give it to another people. So just like this crafty council, it can be, you start looking back, you start to realize that this is the crafty council that they have been doing, right? So then when they started making all those laws after World War I, and they kept excluding Negroes, again, keep us working on the lands, toiling on the lands, but they get all the benefits. Just like with Jacob and Laban, you know, give him Leah. Tell him, oh, you can have you can have both my daughters. Now you want to give me 14 years. So you see, he wasn't worried about his daughters. He's willing to give all his daughters up, so long as Jacob continued to work the lands in order for him to be able to reap the benefits. Right? The troll, and thank you guys for taking care of those trolls. I appreciate you. It's amazing, isn't it, how they just can't come in and, you know, and just listen. They have to come in and try to cause division, cause problems. That's all they can do. Unjust enrichment, exactly. That's why I get pissed off when people try to give me the BS about, oh, well, my parents worked hard. Our ancestors have worked the hardest. They gave free labor for hundreds of years. So I don't want to hear anything about what your parents did or what your grandparents did, because they were still compensated. It might not have been as much as they wanted to be. I says, but they were still compensated, and they had rules and laws that and help that allowed them to be able to work hard and get something. They could have worked hard in their own nation and gotten very little, even less than what they got here, because the things that they did get here were actually promised to us. The things that they got here, and that's all people. All the things that you guys got here were promised to us. So now it makes, like I said, those stories, of course, in the Bible, repeat, because there's nothing new under the sun. These people that you see here today are the same ones that were going against Israel back then. Right there, Kevin Scott just got the notification, right? 40 minutes after the fact. And then somehow they tell people that you're going to be raptured away. I was watching Nat Turner, Birth of a Nation, last night or the night before, and I was watching the end when he was getting hanged. He was about to get hanged. And the guy said, do you have anything to say to these nice people? The ones that were beating him and spitting on him and punching him and everything else. And he said, do you have anything to say to these nice people? I said, the fact that you guys think that you're nice and the fact that you think that you're godly shows you just like what we are dealing with. Shows you exactly what we are dealing with. A people that are upset with people for fighting back, for being treated horribly. That is so you treat slaves like he was going back and forth with the preacher, the white preacher. And he started talking about the whole thing about if you have a slave and you hold him in your hands, and that's when it hit his mouth, because he was about to talk about slavery and then he was talking about, and they whipped him because he was speaking back to the pastor who didn't even freaking know any. All he knew in that movie were the verses that, pretty much condoned slavery. The only verses that white pastor kept on talking about was, being obedient to your masters, and slaves will, be obedient, and this, and that. Those are all the stuff that the white pastor was saying. But then Nat was given other verses, because he said when he was having a discussion, he goes, every verse that they give, approving slavery, there's multiple verses that damn them to hell for doing so. And that's, like I said, that's the main thing. I said, it shows you how this all works out. Like, you guys, other nations have only talk about the verses that pretty much that you can turn to help you with what you're doing. You'd be like Laban trying to find some verses that, condone him giving him Leah when he knew he wanted Rachel, and trying to steal more labor, which is exactly what you guys did. You guys all you're about is stealing labor from the Most High's chosen people, stealing resources. The best resource you guys have is the Israelites, and the Israelites on their lands, because we are magical here. So now we are here. It's like you guys added to the affliction, and you'll try to find some verses that say you don't have to pay for adding to the affliction of the Most High's chosen people. That's not going to work anymore, because now we read for ourselves. We're like all Nat Turners who we know that Bible way better than you do. You only know the verses that you like. You only know the verses that support what you think or what you want to believe. And then you try to make it illegal for us to read anything otherwise. And which is funny is you guys do exactly the same thing. Even camps do the same things. Don't read this book. Don't read that book. Don't look here. Don't look there. Don't look at Revelation 6 and 8, because apparently you guys don't know that Revelation 6 and 8, because I haven't had anyone from the churches nor the camps try to break down Revelation 6 and 8. Haven't seen any of them try to break any of those down, right? So I guess the camps must not know Revelation 6 and 8. They must not know 2nd Esdras 14:43 and on. Maybe the Pope cut those verses out of their Bibles too. Yeah, that's an individualite. That would be an holyite, wouldn't it? Because you're supposed to be holy and separate. But again, they don't follow what the Bible says. They be part of a camp. That's not being holy. That's not being separate. Like, the real people will not have a problem standing alone, standing on their own. We don't study together. We study on our own. Study to show thyself approved, not study to show thy camp approved. Last time I checked, it's not a study to show thy camp approved, study to show thy church approved, study to show thy group approved, study to show thyself approved. Because again, when you stand in front of the Most High, it's not going to be, hey man, hey, all the GMS come together. You guys are all, we're going to all talk about the same thing. We're going to talk about everything together as a group. All of IUIC, you guys all come together, right? All of you as an ISUPK, you guys all come together. We'll all judge you guys all together. That's not how it works. This is why it talks about know thyself. Even with the Egyptians, again, who got that stuff from the Israelites, know thyself. Got to be studying for yourself. You can come together definitely with other like-minded individuals who have studied also. And like I said, even all the way to the end, none of them, camps, churches, Catholics, Christians, whatever you guys want to call yourselves, none of them are trying to come after Revelation 6 and 8. None of them are talking about 2nd Esdras 14. None of them. All the way to the end. But they will talk about still Jacob's trouble coming for everybody. Now, Jacob's trouble came for Jacob, and now the trouble is coming for the other nations. And see, like I said, and the other nations did that same playbook that Laban did with Jacob. They did exactly the same playbook that they did with Jacob. That's what they do. They look at like things in the Bible and how we can defile ourselves and how they can take advantage of that. Just like it talks about in Judith. Hey, when they wanted to come take down the Israelites, and they said, hey, general said, hey, if they're with their power, there's nothing you can do against those people. There's nothing you can do with their people. But if they're not, if they're, separate from their power because they're not following what he wants them to do, then you can get them. And so what this whole society is about, oh man, we're not under the law anymore. What do you mean we're not under the law anymore? Oh yeah, that's all been done away with Jesus. Hold on, were you ever under the law? Crickets. So the law was never given to you in the first place, so therefore you were never under it. So of course you can say we were never under the law because you're talking about yourselves. You're not talking about the Israelites because those people were under the law. He gave the laws to a particular set apart group of people. So he didn't give it to you. So therefore you can easily say we are not under the law anymore because that is only dealing with you. We were under the law. That's why we kept on having to go in and out of captivity because we were under the law and you didn't. So the Most High allowed you just to build up. So the thing, and how was he judging you? By what you did to the Israelites. Was he judging you by what you did by the law? Or did he say, oh, you didn't follow my law? Is that what he said in Matthew? When he separates the sheep from the goats? He didn't separate you guys, the other nations, by how well you followed the law. He did separate you by how you treated the Israelites. So see, that's the whole thing. So this is the Most High just giving me more information. I never really kind of connected on that. I says, you're being judged on how you treated the Israelites. We were being treated by how we did or did not follow the law. So, our laws were not necessarily always applicable to you other nations. But how you treated us is a huge part of how you can be saved. Right? What does it say? If you bless Israel, you will be blessed. If you curse Israel, you will be cursed. So therefore, it was a much easier thing to understand for you guys, because he didn't give you the laws. So since he didn't give you the laws, he gave you another measuring stick. And your measuring stick was how you treated Israel. How you treated Israel. And if you go read the whole parable of the sheep and the goats, you'll see very clearly it didn't say anything about, following our laws, but it did say how you're going to treat our people. And you can tell you treated our people like crap. You've treated them horribly, and now you're going to be judged for that. You're going to be judged for that. See, this is why people they get into the laws, and then they try to apply our laws to everyone else. And I'm like, when it talks about praying for your enemies, it's not talking about necessarily praying for your Gentile enemies. It's talking about praying for enemies in your own nation. How could you be judged for, or how could you be expected to pray for the Gentiles when the Gentiles were supposed to be separate from us in the first place? That's why he gave us Turtle Island. He gave us Turtle Island. Why was that? To keep us separate. So therefore, when you're talking about laws and praying for your enemies and things like that, he's talking about praying for your enemies within your nation. He did not set this up for us all to be all together. We're supposed to be a holy and separate people. So when it's talking about, not sleeping with someone else's wife, he's talking about your own nation. When people get caught up with bringing all this stuff together. These people are not under our laws. They were not given our laws. This is all about, this is all about our people. Things for within the nation, exactly. And it's funny because people talk about multiple wives and everything else, and then oh, you guys just all want multiple wives. You guys just want multiple women. If you don't realize right now, look, that is not what this is about. This is why the camps set themselves up, and all of a sudden a lot of these dudes were getting multiple wives and multiple women. Everybody wants the perk of being an Israelite without being an Israelite. You see what I'm saying? And if you don't look, having multiple wives is a lot of work, and not a lot of men want that work anyways. This is why it was when sometimes a brother would die. Even in the Bible, one brother, On was one of them. The brother died, and he was supposed to take the brother's wife, but then it didn't seem like he really wanted her. And not only that, when he would have sex, he would not finish inside, right? And then the Most High killed him for that. He didn't kill him because he had another wife. He killed him because he did not do what the Most High told him as far as that is concerned. And it's not all men are hey man, I want to have 10 wives. Why? Men, we got other things we like to do other than just be with women all the time. We're here to do what the Most High wants us to do. But see, that's the mentality of people thinking like that. Right? One wife is a handful, exactly. I said, but that's the whole thing with this whole situation. It's we're still applying our laws to other people. People act like, men always think about just sex, and that's it. And they just want all these different women, this, and that. When a lot of it is a lot of headaches. And people don't want all that. You see what I'm saying? And then not only that, look, this society, women and men, I said, are pretty much walking, zombies. Walking zombies right now. There is no depth to the men or women in the vast majority of these people. You're just walking bags of skin with no spirits, right? So who in the hell would want multiple people like that? Just bags of spirits, body bags, skin bags, walking around with absolutely no spirit in them. You can't have a conversation with these. How many people can we really have conversations with when you're in this truth? So you try to have a conversation with the vast majority of the people, and they get you that look. You think that somehow a man wants 10 of those, a man wants 5 of those, 7 of those, and not only that. Then look at the women. Look, a lot of you women, you're in a screwed up situation too. I said, because when you look at most of the men, how many men do you see that can lead one woman in this truth? Exactly, World War Z, right? So you just say, like, this is not even like that kind of a time period, because the vast majority, like I look at most of the men I talk to, I said they don't know shit about shit. It's all about, hey man, I gotta stack my money. I got to do this. I got to stack this. I got to make sure my kids go to college. I got to make sure that, they go to the best private schools and they learn about us being African American. And maybe I'll send them to an all black school. I mean, this stuff that they're worried about has nothing to do with the Most High. So a lot of women are in the same situation. There's not men, not a whole lot of men, right? So it's just a rat race, exactly. So but see, when people when you're talking about, oh, these men just want, I said, yeah. The Most High is going to give you a woman that goes with who you are. And if you're a man that's just all about this world, you'll get plenty of women that'll be like zombies. Then vice versa. If you're a woman like that, you'll attract men that are like zombies like you. You see what I'm saying? I said, but that's not what we are moving into. That is not what we're moving into. And like I said, our laws and the way the Most High wants us to do things has nothing to do with the other nations. That's why when we practice certain things, they're not allowed to practice with us. They're not allowed to go in with us. They're not allowed to worship with us. I like that, soulmate or checkmate. So like I said, so that's like, but see, these other camps, they just got into it like, oh yeah, I'm dealing with this one here, and I'm dealing with that one there, and I got this one over here, and I don't work, and I don't really have any money to be able to. It all has to do with also having money to be able to take care of whoever said person is. I said we are not in that position right now. So the fact that people wanted to run to all that, I was like, we're not even in that position right now. You're supposed to, if you have multiple women, you're supposed to be able to take care of them. And we are in our blessing, so therefore we're not in that position. So there's a lot of other things. Like I said, you got to be able to lead your wife or wives anyways. And I said, and if you are stuck reading 80 books, and not even all 80, and you really don't even have the understanding, you can't even teach your woman. You see what I'm saying? Like, how could you teach her? I said, if you're stuck with letting another man dictate what you can and can't read, then what's the difference between a pastor in a church leading your woman or you trying to lead your woman? Because you're really not leading her anyways. I said, because your elders are leading her. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's why I'm like, there's no difference between an elder or a pastor. So you really got to be a person who can read and study and is led by the Spirit. Those are the ones that the Most High is going to bless. I said, and those are the ones that can really teach. Like I said, if you're still stuck under an elder, you're no different than a person who's stuck under a bishop or, the head lady, the head pastor, or whatever the frick they call themselves now. I don't know, right? I said, but again, all of that shows you that you can't lead if you still are stuck in only 66 books or 80 books. How exactly can you lead when you can't read? If you can't read, you can't lead. If you're stuck, I said, oh, hey man, Daddy said I can only read 80 books. Daddy said, 78 books. Daddy said I can't break down Revelation 6 and 8 unless, I listen to what 100% truth he has. Daddy said I can't do that. Daddy said I can't marry you because Daddy didn't approve it. Exactly. You can't lead without a head. Exactly. And a head means that you can make decisions on your own independently. I like that one. Daddy said reading rain books only. So again, like I said, all these guys, and as I'd be laughing, they're on the street corners trying to act all hard, and then their daddy says you can't read any other books and you just follow along. I said, please, man, get this. What? But I got my 2 wives and 3 wives, but I can't read anything else. I don't really work. They take care of me. He said, this is much bigger than the things that they tried, they tried to entice you to get into the camp so they can, oh, hey, you need to listen to me. I'm going to tell you everything, this, and that. It's like, you have to be willing to listen to people who have knowledge. And when you go into certain fields, it might be a woman that has more knowledge in certain fields than you do. So then are you willing to listen to a woman to show you certain things that you don't know? And see, a lot of men won't do that. I do that. I said, I'll test it. I'll test the spirit, find the information, study my own. But sometimes I'll have to ask some of the sisters to actually explain stuff to me or break things down for me. I have no problem with that. I said, that's what makes a whole individual. A whole individual is made with a mother and a father, not just one or the other. Why would that be any different in the spirit realm? We start getting into more spiritual things. We start getting into more higher level things. I see that the women have a lot more understanding of spiritual things than many of us men do. And I have no problem admitting that. That's just what I see, and that's what I see. And then, but if you got a lot of the men who just deal with carnal things. But you have to understand, like, a lot of women will be like, oh, we got to get in touch with our feminine side. Well, that was also what brought down a lot of things in the antediluvian world, was because we were unbalanced that way, and we had more of our female energies going on that side as well. So like I said, there must be a balance. Exactly, Chris G. So there's something that's better settled with 2 heads, exactly. And you see with the camps, like that's totally super ridiculous male energy only. And and it's like, it's my way or the highway, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? People talk about dating. I was like, I don't feel like there's like a lot of time for all of that. That's just my personal opinion. But I mean, I'm in a much different position than other people. So, I mean, it's an individual thing. I just said, but I'm just looking at, like, we're all here on our own journeys. Everyone's here on their own journey, and to say that one way is the only way, I said, I don't agree with that either. I said the Most High's way, yes, but the Most High has different paths to get to Him. We're all here at this time, and I'm telling you, many of us have taken different journeys to get to this place that we are at right now. And because it was the journey that the Most High put each and every individual on. Like I said, it's a very difficult situation. Like I said, I'm not going to tell anybody like what you should be doing as far as all like the personal stuff. I said that's between you and the Most High, as far as dating or not dating or whatever else. As I said, like right now, I mean, there are so few of us. I mean, it is amazing. There's so much going on, and like, what do you like? I don't have very many people that I can have a conversation about things that I study, things that I see. I said there are not very many people that are on that level, and most people don't even know the Bible. So, if you don't even know the Bible, then how can we discuss deeper things? I mean, that's going to be for all of us because we're all live in the same world. So you can just easily see how there's so few people that you can actually, talk certain things about, talk about certain information about. So there's a lot of information that the Most High is downloaded here. I don't share. I said because if you don't really have a good understanding of the Bible, the other things are not going to. They might scare the hell out of you. I said because even things in the Bible aren't exactly what you think they are. Yes, the speech is very surface and not deep whatsoever. Just like the whole story that we just got on to about Laban and Leah and Rachel. Most of the people, I'm going to say 90+% of the people in this world don't even know that story. Most of them don't even know that story whatsoever, right? So if you don't even know the story of Laban and Leah and Rachel, how would you then be able to equate that to historical things that were going on here? How are you going to relate that to, the Declaration or the Emancipation Proclamation? How are you going to, with 1865 and slavery? And how are you going to relate that to, the Native American Indians Act? And then you're going to go to FHA loans and redlining, how all of those things were to keep us down so that then all of the other nations, all these other vassals and blassels could get the perks here. They're not going to be able to make those kinds of connections. They're still going to be stuck with, hold on, where is that story about Laban? Laban? Who's Leah? Who's Rachel? That's what you're going to get. That's what you're going to get. And trust. And you guys start going to other books and you start making these other connections. I said that's all the Holy Spirit. That's all the Holy Spirit has to teach you. We got our base understanding with the Bible, but then we start having other information that the Most High connects. You read, historical stuff, and then the Most High, when it's ready, with the Holy Spirit, brings all that stuff together. And then someone who doesn't read is gonna look at me like I'm crazy. Someone who doesn't read or study is gonna act like I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Oh, you don't know. That's wrong. That's not the right interpretation. Really? So what is the right interpretation exactly? And they'll have nothing. They'll have absolutely nothing. So they said these are the times I said that we're in. They'll talk about, oh, Catholic, I'm Catholic. I don't read the Bible. Yeah, the Pope. I'm cracking up with, people were like, I have to play one of these videos talking about the Pope, and he was acting like the Pope was already dead, and he was doing like a prayer and stuff like that, and how, he's God's, representative on earth. He's this, he's that, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, so you're not going to talk about the fact that his church just paid $750 billion for men raping little boys? Not going to talk about any of that. Not going to bring up any of that. Not going to mention that about how, and this has been going on all over the world. He's been covering up. I said, you're not going to touch on any of that. I said, they talked about him being the last pope, and these guys are holding him together with like duct tape and glue, and they're just rolling him out. Oh, look, the Pope made another appearance, and it's like, oh boys, it's like with his oxygen mask, his oxygen on him. And he just sitting there, just like he's not even like alive. But look, he made another appearance. Like he's in some physical position of, he's physically doing so well that he's coming out and beating people when he's stuck in a wheelchair, and it's like they're just propping him up. I mean, propping the dude up. Oh, about Judith? Yeah, you're right. Said our women are beautiful and strong, They can get places that us men can't get to. They use that beauty, and I said that's captivating to these other nations, always has been. That's why, they did their best to destroy our men so they could have access to our women. Right, Father Jay, they say he's doing great. Oh yeah, making great improvements, and then be dead 2 days later. So yeah, like I said, just it's a lot going on, and he said, and just understand, like, this is why it's important for us to come together, like he said, and spend time together. You know, just spending time together in the spirit, spending time together, bouncing ideas off each other, getting some laughs together, things like that. I said, because that's what we need. Because, like I said, we're a very small knit group that you can actually have conversations about certain things that the vast majority of the people are going to just, it's going to go over their heads. And still talking about the Pope like he's, you know, oh, yeah, you really think he's making any decisions right now? Dude can barely breathe. Defibrillator Pope. Exactly. Without our attention, Carlos Young, it all collapses. And that's what you're seeing going on right now. It's all collapsing around them because they can't steal our energy. That's why they got all of their perks coming over here, was because we were here working, and our sorrows, you know, giving us, you know, if we were in sorrow, we were at the bottom and things like that, that energized them. That's why they're always trying to have us at the bottom and having us in sorrow and at the bottom, because it energized them. You see, now that we aren't giving them that kind of energy anymore, and we're happy and content and happy with the Most High, and just, you know, giving all praises to the Most High and the Holy Spirit, you know, acknowledging Yahweh Shai and the things that he's done for us as well, you know, acknowledging our ancestors again, and not being scared, you know, to do certain things because they say it's evil. He said, you got to look at all of the people that they've put in our path to keep us from this point. You know, it says, I can just look at all the different groups that are supposedly in the truth. I said that always attacked me, you know, because I would go into different things and they would say that that's evil and that's this and that's that. Why did they say that? Because their daddy said they couldn't. Their daddy said they couldn't do those things. Their daddy told them they couldn't read those books. Their daddy told them they can't, you know, look at that because that's magic. Can't look at that because that's magic. That's evil. You're going to go to hell. I've been in hell, bruh. We've been in hell. I'm going to go into the books that you don't read. I'm going to go into the subject matter that you won't touch, because apparently that's not for you, because your daddy told you you couldn't go there. But my daddy told me I could. My mother told me I could. So that's what just shows you again, what you're on is not what I'm on. My father and my mother tell me to go into those books, go into that information. Your daddy tells you no, and you listen. That's why, again, you other nations, you're going to be judged on how you treated us. You're not going to be treated, you're not necessarily always going to be judged. I mean, yes, you're supposed to use like the 10 Commandments to judge, to take care of his people, to treat each other correctly, to treat us correctly. But you broke every single commandment, especially when dealing with us. Especially when you're dealing with us, is like, thou shalt not murder. Yeah, check, that's out. Thou shalt not covet. Yeah, that's out. You know? And so we covet other people's wives. Oh, that's out. Right? You should not steal. That's out. Right? Not have any other gods. That's out. I mean, every single thing when it deals with us goes out the window. Within each other, you guys try to, you know, treat each other somewhat better, you know, depending on your level in the vassal system, right? I said, but the Most High is going to judge you on how you treated us. And where are you going to hear that at? Are you going to hear that at your churches? Are your churches going to tell you that you're going to be treated on how you treated the so-called Negroes, the so-called black people, that you set laws to treat them as, you know, subhuman, and you followed along with it because it benefited you? But now you want to say that we're all slaves? So I love it. Like we're 856. We're usually around 800, 900. They might let it get to 1,000. Like it's got to be the same people all the time. It's got to be the same people that are here all the time because the numbers really don't change. Again, you're going to be judged for that too. The people that are holding those numbers down like that and trying to manipulate the truth, you're going to be judged for that too. You're going to have to be held to account because there are way more people that are here, that are watching, that want to hear this truth that you are trying to block. So you're going to pay for that too. Even these little things that you're doing to try to manipulate the situation, you're going to have to pay for. You're going to have to pay for it. You manipulating numbers on these other idiot channels who aren't bringing forth any knowledge, any understanding, and you're raising those numbers in order to try to manipulate people to think that that's what is what the world wants. You're gonna have to pay for that too. You're gonna have to pay for all of these actions. So for everything that you're doing, you're gonna be held accountable for. Geriatrics, right? There were not, there's millions of people. Yeah, millions of old people who voted for Trump, who are now all pissed off, because of what he's doing. Many people who are now being affected. See, when it didn't affect you, you didn't care. You didn't care. But see, it's not affecting us now, so we don't care either. Like, hey man, if it is what it is, I don't anticipate us doing the same things that we're doing now in 5 years, in 3 years. And I mean, I don't see it because I just look at the changes that have happened in the last year. Now, people might not see it as far as much as in the physical, but I'm looking at the spiritual because that's how things are ordained in the spirit realm first, then they manifest here. We are the elites. Like they love to talk about, the elites, the elite units they have in the military and things like that. We are the elites when it comes to spiritual things. We are the elites when it comes to eternal things. You see what I'm saying? You guys, other nations, have been the elites to things that have an end date, that have an expiration date. The fact that you cannot, not any of you can stand up to any of the spiritual information that's coming out shows that you're done. Because the only thing we're waiting for now is the manifestation of the fact that we are the elites in the world here. And that can happen at any moment. And that can happen however the Most High wants. If he wants to remove us, if he wants to elevate us, if he wants us to, because it says everyone's going to say, these were the children of God that we had in derision. They're going to see all that. So either you're going to see it with us, getting our powers back. You're going to see the Most High remove us. Whatever it is, maybe some get powers, maybe some get removed. These are all things that, you can debate how it's going to happen or how it's going to play out. I said, but it's going to play out. All of these things I said are what's going to play out. Exactly. The tail shall be the head and the head shall be the tail. Now, like I said, spiritually, that has already occurred. The switch has already occurred because, they're not even trying to explain any of these things. They're not trying to defend their own actions. They're not even trying to defend. I have not seen any pastors, any priests trying to defend the actions of their churches. I have not heard any camps trying to actually break down any of this information that's coming out about Revelation 6 and 8. Even Psalms 147, 19 and 20. You can't say that you are the Israelites and that the books were only given to Jacob, but then limit yourself to what the Catholic Church tells you you can read. That there shows me then that you don't even believe in Psalms 147, 19 and 20. So don't even bust that out because the scriptures doesn't say 66 books, 80 books. He gave us all the books. Who would have more books? More than us? Nobody. Who would have more books than the Israelites? No one. Why is that? I said because he gave Enoch everything. He took our forefathers and gave them all the information. He didn't give it to the other nations. So therefore, we're going to have, all the stories are ours. You see what I'm saying? We're talking about Paul and Thecla. That's us. Right? Talk about the Odes of Solomon. That's us. Right? Talk about the Ascension of Isaiah. That's us. Those are all books and things that was given to our people. So the other nations have no position to be saying what you can and can't read. And if you're a Hebrew Israelite and you're saying, I can't read this book, and I say, why? And you say it's not inspired, who says it's inspired? And they're going to say, I say, you can't say the Ish people that you hate so much. You know what I'm saying? You can't talk about, it's not inspired because of ancient historical. Who's the ancient historical? I said, you can't say that because you're running to Ish, because you're trying to say that Ish is the one that dictates. And I said, how can you say that they are the ones that get to dictate when you say that they're not even the people? You Hebrew Israelites, come up with these videos and talk about Ish isn't the people, but then you let Ish be the ones to dictate what we can and can't read. Make it make sense. You come up with all these videos talking about Ish not being a people, but then we talk about these are inspired to, says who? Says Ish? Either you're going to say it's Ish or it's the Catholic Church. Which one is it? And then we got you. Shouldn't we, as the real people who have wakened up at the end, be the ones that actually go and read the books for ourselves and be spirit-led and let the Spirit dictate what is good and what is not? You know, we've been stuck at 850 forever. Hasn't been 850-ish, whatever else, been sitting there for like 30, 40 minutes. It shows you how, it's the same people. I guess they're only here, and that's it. But like I said, you're gonna pay for that. You're already paying for it. Make sure we send some of our angels for them as well, because again, you're trying to promote a false narrative that the Most High does not agree with anymore. Pushing African American. When we watched that video, and the guy said that at first it was 12 million people were brought on slave ships, then it dropped down to 300,000, and then they dropped it to 90,000. How can you then still keep calling us African American if you're saying that only 90,000 people came over here? You see, this is why the Most High has destroyed you, because you can't go any deeper. You cannot read any other books, or you won't, or you haven't. People are trying to do it now because we're at the end, and we don't need you anymore. The Most High has already given us knowledge, understanding. Like, when I bust out Enoch, you can see all the notes that I have on there. When I bust out my Nag Hammadi, you can see all the notes that I have all over the place in that book. These are things that we've been doing for years. It's kind of hard for you to all of a sudden try, the Book of Enoch is a book that the Catholic Church is hidden. Yeah, now you're barely trying to talk about it. It's things we've talked about for years. We studied to show ourselves approved. I have to go back and get that information. And you're barely even now acting as if somehow it's something new, when we've been telling you it's been important, pertinent information forever. Thank you, Prodigy. I appreciate that. So, like I said, as you can see, 850, 860, you're going to leave it right there the whole time. Even with like my wife and I were looking at like the subscribers, it was like at 983 like 2 weeks ago. Then we go to 985, 981, 983, 984, 981. It would just keep it exactly at the same place. So like I said, it doesn't matter. Like I said, you guys are going to pay for all of that, all of the manipulation. Exactly right. Wait till the last second to jump ship. So we'll yellow highlight a $10,000 book. It's amazing to see, because they try to get into these books, but it's too late. See, we've been in these books when they weren't popular, when everyone would come at us for reading other books. And so, but now it's come to the end. He said, and now you're trying to act like you know something, and you've been exposed as knowing absolutely nothing. It was great hanging out with everyone. Much love to everyone. Prayers to everyone. Prayers to everyone who supports myself as well as the other true people who are in this truth. All praises to the Most High. Thank you. Pray a special prayer for everyone. For blessings for everyone in this truth. I pray for mercy for the ones that are truly cleaving and truly trying to make atone for the things that their forefathers have done. Stop trying to make it seem as if somehow you're not going to have to pay for what your forefathers have done, because that's exactly what we did. That's exactly what we did. Yes, the Bible gave you peace only when we were asleep, because then the only voice that you heard was your pastors and your priests' breakdowns. Now that we've been awakened and that book has been returned to us, now the end of your blessing is here, and none of the people that you've believed in can show you otherwise. So again, special prayer to everyone. Gives me prayers, supports me. I thank you. Anyone who supports other ways, we thank you so much as well. So they allow myself to do what I do, to be able to bring out the information that I do, to be able to go to certain places that I do. I appreciate that. And much love to everyone. Like I said, we are in beautiful times. It's hard to imagine how blessed we are, because there are so few of us at this point. And it just shows you how, what the Most High said was true. 1 in a city, 2 in a family. It's just absolutely amazing. So thank the Most High. Thank the Holy Spirit. Thank Yahweh Shai. Thank the angels. And thank our ancestors. Much love, family. Shalom.